It's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we explore a topic that is near and dear to my heart. My late grandfather was a World War II veteran, and I always wished I knew more about what he lived through during that frightening time. On a recent trip to the Philippines, my mother uncovered pieces of his life as a young Filipino soldier, giving me and my family a deeper understanding of how brave he and many others were as they fought for not only their country, but ours.
Hey, Mom. Hi.
I meet up with my mother to do something years overdue. It centers around this old briefcase that has been sitting in my family's home in the Philippines for decades. And yet, we've never opened it. Inside, something I've been searching for, a better understanding of my grandfather. That's him and my grandmother with my mother Ellen on her wedding day. That's my mom today with her siblings as they uncover clues about their father, Jaime Barria, hidden away since before they were born. He never talked about it, but these photos and documents paint a picture of a frightening time. My grandfather was a World War II hero. What was going through your mind when you guys found it?
We were living with somebody who wasn't just a father, who wasn't just a husband, who wasn't just a brother, but much, much more than that.
She believes he had his reasons for not sharing his experiences with his children.
He wanted to protect us from the realities of war. To your service as a Philippine Scout.
With each piece, we get a clearer picture of what my grandfather lived through when his country was invaded by Japan. We learn that he was a member of the U.S. military's 45th Infantry Regiment, known as the Philippine Scouts, part of General Douglas MacArthur's forces who fought America's first battle of the war. Together, we are discovering not only about my grandfather's life, private first class, but the importance of the unit he was in, arguably the best prepared U.S. Army division at the start of the war. My grandfather grew up in a town called Imus, Cavite.
His family was in the agriculture business. I wouldn't say he got tired of being part of that, but he wanted to learn more and something else outside the horizon where he was.
He and I shared many moments together. That's him on the right, and I'm in the red dress. But never did he talk about the war and all of its atrocities.
It was difficult, extremely difficult on him.
While there were many tragic moments in the Philippines during the war, none worse than the Bataan Death March. Nearly 75,000 starving Allied prisoners were forced to march through a merciless 65-mile stretch. They were beaten, shot, even beheaded at the hands of the Japanese.
General Douglas MacArthur has returned.
Allied forces finally liberated the island nation in July of 1945. But not before Manila was in ruins and over 1 million people in this tiny country were dead. My grandfather was one of the lucky ones, but likely still dealt with the lingering trauma of war for the rest of his life. While this chapter is forever etched in Filipino history, through the lens of American history, this story has vanished. And the contributions of so many Filipino fighters, like my grandfather, have been completely forgotten. That's why this letter we found is so important.
From the White House?
It's from President Harry Truman to my grandfather and other Filipino fighters, thanking them for bravely fighting for the United States of America. In my next story, an effort to put this chapter into American history books. I'll introduce you to a special graphic novel leading that charge to tell the story of the contributions of the brave Filipino World War II fighters.